From the silver screen to every airway, welcome back, American Beauties, to a brand new conversation here on Princess Coded the Podcast, a place that prides in intimate and intentional conversations, surely to make you feel like royalty. I am your host, Amaya Kai, and I am welcoming you all back into the palace. First of all, I just want to say, Happy New Year, y'all. I can't believe we made it. I really can't. 2023 was a crazy year, but we're here by the grace of God, okay? And as you all saw, I switched up the intro because I wanted to add to the atmosphere. Although I felt as if we started off very strongly, I want to make sure that I am on the same accord and most importantly, just adding to the ambiance that we create together. For today's conversation, I teetered between releasing this or just tabling it because I'm going to be real honest with y'all. When it comes to me and my episodes, I really like to think outside the box and find topics that you merely hear about. And I really want to make sure that everything I'm saying makes sense, but it relates to everybody. Because if I'm only talking about one thing and it doesn't relate to anybody, then what is my purpose as a host? And I promise you all in the beginning that I am very committed to making this space that we share together a reality. For, as I said previously, for those who do not have access to certain resources or the type of content that they're looking for. And with that being said, this episode will really be a trigger warning. So there are mentions of suicide, sexual assault, all those things of that sort. And if you would like to have a breather, I want to take this time out first to breathe with you all, and we'll go into either further details. So let's do it. I hope that breather exercise allowed us to feel better. And today we will be doing something alongside an HBCU style State of the Union. For those who do not know what a State of the Union is, it pretty much comes around, I want to say, every year or 2 years. I'm not really into politics like that, so excuse me. And the President of the United States, he technically talks about the best of times and the worst of times. That's the only political term I know. And they just tell what we need to work on. And I feel with me being an HBCU student, I have to make sure that I'm keeping all of us not only updated, but just making sure that the community that we're in, whether HBCU student or not, that we understand the importance of what's going on and to be educated. But before we get into the nitty gritty, I have a poem from my friend Ashanti, or as I like to call her, my Khadijah. Yes, my real life Khadijah, living single reference, entitled Historically Black, as I previously said. And it goes like this. I go to an HBCU where Black excellence is heaven sent, and the culture is magnificent. From the fits to the events, it's all an amazing experience. Going to an HBCU takes an immense amount of pride because not everybody wants to see us shine. I go to an HBCU, and at my HBCU, we forever scream, I love my FBSU. If you guys enjoyed that poem as much as I did, go ahead and not only give her your support, but also just suggestions for her poems at all social platforms and recordings of her. As we go into the conversation at hand, I ask myself this. Will I sugarcoat my experience, or will I finally be vulnerable with you all and just tell the truth? I had this thought in my mind, of course, because I am an overthinker and a procrastinator as well. And it was just something telling me, be careful, because a lot of people will come at you crazy. And I'm honestly terrified. Yet, as somebody who has unfortunately faced similar situations to others who might relate to me and also what I will be addressing, I can't just, sit by and let it go to waste. And here goes nothing. As a freshman HBCU student, I honestly thought, y'all, my life would be the same experiences along the lines of a different world. Yet, what I witnessed is more like higher learning. If you have not seen this movie, I highly recommend watching it, because what I am about to say not only lines up with the plot of the movie and the trajectory of what the story is trying to tell. What I am about to tell y'all is about to shock you. From the many perspectives of friends and loved ones I have spanning from many HBCUs, including Alabama A&M University, of course my friends and peers at Fort Valley State, Payne College, Xavier University of Louisiana, and beyond, the multitude of things we have seen in our plain view, but also being broadcasted on social media, is honestly, to me, y'all, it's disgusting. I won't even lie to y'all. It truly is disgusting, and I'm going to tell y'all why. As a lot of you all know, I am in a position which I will not name, for the reason being that I do not want to risk anything. I always wondered if I'm able to see in the eyes of my peers that are different from me, what would I be able to not only take away but comprehend about their experience? And being who I am, I make sure that everybody around me is okay, not just because of my position. That's because that's what Amaya does. And just also making sure that the spaces that my institution provides is comfortable and are home away from home. As I was even in my own season of isolation, in a fight to make a name for myself, because I'm not from Georgia, so it was a lot harder for me to not only make friends, but make my name known for the reason it was supposed to be, because originally a lot of people saw me as bougie, and it did hurt because it was a lot of different things that I could never really explain without having to say, well, I'm not this, but at the same time, I'm not meant to prove nothing to anybody, although that's always been a thought in my mind. I realized that God was using me in that season where he has kept me quiet, kept me to myself, just for me to be used as a reference for the future. And the fact that I'm actually saying this is one of the biggest things that I can say, because I've never been, the type to entail it as much. But where I am in life now, especially with my relationship with God, you have to start telling your testimony, because you never know when somebody gonna understand, or even it's gonna bless somebody else. And although it's not been said enough, guys, we really, 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 really have to do better. We honestly do. Because when it comes to certain things such as our mental health, being embarrassed, whether it be from the situations that we face, we have to do better, y'all. We are not realizing the fact that we are, at the end, facing an epidemic. Not only just externally, but internally. Because whether we like it or not, y'all, a lot of us are stingy. Like, I can't really comprehend why a lot of people that I've not really encountered, because this is not my experience, but for those who I have talked to, and they've said that they've been really stingy when it comes to their connections, how they market themselves. They just like to keep things to a closed book. And I understand, because you don't know what they're going to do, and they're going to take that and turn it into their own thing. But at the same time, y'all, like, it don't make no sense. I'm here to tell you, If you finally took the time to sit down and ask yourself, how could I help someone? There won't be no funeral. There will not be a rendition of I Shall Wear a Crown. There will not be a slow walk of your casket. There won't be meatballs. There won't be whatever food you have at a funeral repast. You won't even be buried into the ground, nor is there an obituary, man. You good. It's not that difficult. Next thing I do want to say comes from the mental health aspect and how social media plays a big part in that. A lot of the things we tend to follow, and I'm guilty of this too, because we want to see not only just all HBCUs, but our HBCU be highlighted. Yet, a lot of the social media pages, I won't call them out, aren't really highlighting specific things or providing enough context for the discussions that are needed, and most importantly, the truth behind closed doors. We can only start and end at the conclusion that mental health is one of the biggest priorities for today's society. Yeah, that's great and all, but who are you addressing? Is it just a popular vote or a select few people? It can come as a surprise, but there are students who have noticeably added to the statistics of people that look like us and talk like us, whether student or adult, who not only suffer from depression, anxiety, eating disorders, PTSD, sexual assault, rape, suicide, just to name a few. And we are so quick to say that we love HBCUs and we love to support the purpose behind the promise that HBCUs provide to the world. Yet we hide behind a silver mirror and not reveal what's going on. We're so quick to say that we're going to support somebody that looks like us, yet we have not even either bought something from them, we haven't listened to them, we haven't helped them, whatever it may be. We ain't been doing our job. Going into my next thing, I am not only giving my condolences, apologies, and the prayers to the friends and the family, but to Lincoln University of Missouri for the loss of one of their own. Vice President of Student Affairs, Dr. Bonnie Bailey, unfortunately lost her life due to suicide. I want to make sure that I call this moment a silence to not only commemorate her passing, but be able to reflect on the accomplishments, whether we know them or not, she was able to achieve in her tenure. You know, as I sit here, realizing that this event, not really event in a sense, but this time and place is such a big loss for the HBCU community as a whole. If this ain't a warning, not only to those in power, but to those who call themselves advocates on all levels, whether if it's an outsider, student, faculty, staff member, whatever the case may be, this is a warning. You could preach all you want, but what is the point of saying all these things, yet your intentions aren't pure? Same goes to all my business owners and content creators. Y'all can say y'all support everybody, but you play favorites like it's a game of spades. Girl, boom. In all honesty, we all need some answers. Because from what I've read in an extensive research that I've did before I even came with this topic and delivered it to y'all, how do you physically and willingly ignore the calls, the warning signs, and the cries for help, and you add on to it, is honestly sickening to me. At the end of the day, you're the problem. If you sit by and don't listen, you're the problem. I'm going to say it again. No matter what the scenario is, you're simply the problem. We don't hear that enough because a lot of us don't tend to hold not only just others, but ourselves accountable. Because if we sit down with ourselves, as I said previously, and said, okay, what did I do or what could I do to be in a position where I can take this person to the side and say, hey, are you okay? We need more of that. And the crazy thing is, we scream mental health, yet where are the resources that we were promised? Where are the resources where we're able to sit down with a counselor without our business being told? Why would it only come up when a person's life is taken? It shouldn't have to take that for us to realize that the things that an HBCU provides, whether if it's the Black experience, the opportunities, the internships, these things are glamorized enough. And we don't tell people that it's not what it cracks out to be. We shouldn't have to tell people, oh, don't go to HBCU. But right now it's looking like people don't want to go. Another thing is, we shouldn't be people of our own skin color around a community that allows certain things to happen because our egos aren't in check. To me, that's stupid. To me, you look dumb. I would never stoop so low. And I hope you wouldn't either. It shouldn't take us to add to a high percentage rate of African Americans who commit suicide yearly, whether it be male or female, adult, or even a teenager. I know it ain't easy to check on others because we have our own problems and casualties, but it's not difficult to check on your people, whether you know them or you don't. Also, another warning that I'm giving to y'all. You might not want to hear this, but it has to be said. Check on yourself and your own heart posture. And when I say check on your heart posture, I'm saying see where your heart is. See where you can say, okay, I need to fix this, and also give it to God in prayer. Because you could be walking around with the best attributes and you could bring everything that you can to a table. You could bring everything that you think you can that's better than your competitor. Yet you got the ugliest heart in the world. You got the ugliest attitude. Your professionalism, trash. Everything. Trash across the board. -10. Not even -10. Sub-zero. Antarctica. It's gone. And y'all might be laughing at me and when I'm saying this, but I'm telling y'all the truth. You could be sitting around thinking you high and mighty, greater than thou, powerful than thou, yet you can't realize that you're not the problem. Can you tell me now, can you honestly tell me that you're not a problem? Whether if it's your friendships, relationships, can you tell me without laughing that you're not the problem? That you're not adding to a situation? Now, you might not be. I don't know. But I'm just asking. Because when it comes to situations that we're in and the people that we're around, we need to start realizing that could have been us in any situation that they're in. We could have been depressed. We could have been wanting to kill ourselves. It's so much that could have happened, and our names could have been plastered on every social media page. And unfortunately, not a lot of people care until you die. And that's the biggest thing for me. And although I do want to cut this episode short and make sure that you guys have the space to not only reflect, but I want to give an opportunity for each and every one of us who is listening in this space right now a chance to speak their mind and just talk to anybody about their struggles. If you or a loved one is struggling with any kind of mental health concerns or even just can't talk to anyone around you, I need you to do these 3 things. Pull out a paper, pull out a pen, pull out your whatever. You ain't got to write it, you can type it. Call 988. This number was formerly the National Suicide Prevention Hotline and now addresses all mental health needs. Most importantly, you can contact me. I'm here to tell you right now, you're not bothering me. You won't. You can email me at my personal email or my business email now, amayakai83@gmail.com. Also, for those who are on Spotify, as I've always said, you can leave a voicemail or a message, which I will not answer on here, and will hopefully be in the description of this episode below. And you can also text me at all social media platforms at the.amayakai. Nobody should ever believe they're in too deep to be pulled out of anything they're facing. Nobody should believe that they're not worthy enough, they're not pretty enough. Nobody should feel like they're not great enough to make friends or have lifelong friends. You don't need to think like that, because I'd rather me sit here waiting for someone to contact me than see someone else, especially one of my own, who listens to these podcasts right now, or even a friend or family member of mine, have their name plastered everywhere saying that they passed away due to taking their own life or whatever they end up doing. As always, thank you to each and every person who has helped me conduct this episode and the conversation that I'm having, because we need to start having conversations like this. And although we don't see it, maybe this should be a yearly thing where I address it, and I'll take y'all up on that. Every year we're going to have these type of conversations. And I'm going to tell y'all what I've experienced. I'll tell the stories of others, because it could have been us. Heck, it was me. Even though I wasn't facing the mental health concerns, I faced the situation if it felt like I couldn't make friends. I felt as if I wasn't worthy to be in a place. Yet there will be people who are going to set you up and put you in rooms that you haven't even heard of. Your friends are going to be used by God to say your name, to be recommended. I pray for that for you. Heck, I even speak that over your life. And with this space being as valuable and intimate as possible, I want to make sure that I am not only just saying that I am committed, but showing you all that I am committed. Hence why I gave y'all all of those ways to contact, not only just others, but myself. Because there's going to be somebody who needs assistance. And if you ever need to go back to any previous episodes, go on ahead. For all of my new listeners, if you felt this way and this is your first time ever being here, this space is meant for you. This space is to be vulnerable. This space is to cry. This space is to feel that you can escape the world and be here, because you could have been anywhere else in the world, but you've been here with us, and that says a lot. Not only just me, but my team. My team is very committed to not only just helping me, but the cause of us creating resources. So whatever the case may be that my team and I will come up with, we will announce it soon. But I'm just letting y'all know, I'm committed. And I'm going to say it 70 times, 7 times over. Because I care. If you like the content that was displayed, be sure to not only subscribe to the show, but just stay updated with us on all platforms, including Amazon Podcasts, Audible, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and last but not least, Spotify. Next episode will be better. Next episode will be in greater spirits. And I will be announcing something. I just have to make sure that I'm getting the greatest delivery for it. And this is the last episode where you're not going to see my face, because I'm actually going to do a video for you all. So please be on the lookout, and also subscribe to the YouTube channel where all things, not only just me, but the podcast will be displayed, which is the Amaya Kai at YouTube as well. And for all of you listening in today, please realize and understand that God loves you, Jesus loves you, I love you, and your spirit is deeply appreciated and needed here. As always, I'm your host, Amaya Kai, and I'll be seeing my American beauties back here at the Palace.